welcome to the deep dive. So you know that number, right? The one on your birth certificate. We tend to think, well, that's it. That number tells us everything about how healthy we are, maybe how much energy we have. But what if that's really only part of the picture? Today, we're doing a deep dive into something that's, well, it's really changing how we think about aging, biological age versus chronological age.
Exactly. And our mission here isn't just to, define the terms, although we'll do that. We want to unpack why this difference is so important for your health.
Right, and maybe the most exciting part, how the latest science is actually showing us ways to, well, maybe slow down that biological clock.
Or maybe even turn it back a bit in some cases.
Yeah.
We've got some pretty game-changing insights coming up, all backed by solid research.
Yeah, really fascinating stuff. Okay, so let's kick things off with the basics. Chronological age. That seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that one's simple enough. It's literally just the number of years you've been alive since you were born in 1990. Then in 2025, you're chronologically 35. No mystery there. It's the calendar count.
Okay, simple. But biological age, that sounds, well, fuzzier. How different can it really be?
Oh, it can be very different. And that's really the core of this whole conversation. Biological age isn't fixed by the calendar. It's a much more dynamic measure. Think of it as how old your body acts on a cellular level.
Okay, acts how? What determines that?
It reflects the actual functioning of your cells, your organs, your whole system. It's influenced by things like inflammation levels, how much DNA damage is built up, and crucially, how well your body can still repair itself.
So you could genuinely have two people, both say 35 on paper,
Exactly.
but one might have the body, the cells, acting like they're 25, full of energy, repairing quickly.
Yep. And the other person, same birth year, their body might be functioning more like someone who's, say, 25, maybe more inflammation, slower repair.
Wow, that's a huge potential difference. So it's not just a feeling, it's measurable biology.
Absolutely. And it's shaped by this really complex mix. Genetics plays a part. Sure, you get dealt a certain hand. But your lifestyle choices, what you eat, how much you move, sleep, stress, those are huge. And environmental factors, too, over your lifetime.
Which leads right to the next question. How do scientists actually figure this out? How do they measure this inner age?
Well, they use specific biological markers or biomarkers, things that change predictably as we age biologically. One classic example is telomere length. These are like protective caps on the ends of our DNA. They tend to get shorter over time.
Okay, I've heard of those. What else?
Another really powerful tool involves looking at epigenetic clocks. These are patterns of chemical tags on your DNA. These tags change throughout life, kind of like a molecular aging clock. It's quite sophisticated.
And are there simpler things too? Like blood tests?
Oh, definitely. Standard blood markers are also used, things like C-reactive protein, which shows inflammation levels, or, glucose and insulin levels, which tell us about metabolic health. Putting these different markers together gives us a pretty good picture of biological age.
So the bottom line is biological age shows how fast you're really aging inside.
Exactly.
And the really empowering part, the reason we're doing this deep dive, is that it's something you can actually influence.
That's the absolute key takeaway. It's not set in stone.
Okay, so if you can influence it, why is that so important? What's the payoff?
Well, the payoff is potentially huge for your health and how long you live well. It turns out biological age is a much better predictor of health outcomes than just your chronological age.
Better than the calendar number.
Significantly better.
Yeah.
We're talking about predicting your risk for major chronic diseases.
Such as?
The big ones, often associated with getting older. Heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even conditions like Alzheimer's. A lower biological age consistently correlates with a lower risk for these things. It's a powerful warning sign. Or, conversely, a sign you're on the right track.
So it's not just about living longer, but living healthier for longer, reducing that period of sickness at the end of life.
Precisely. It's about health span, not just lifespan. But it's also about quality of life right now. People with a younger biological age generally report having more energy, better physical performance.
Yeah.
They just feel more youthful and often look it too.
We all know those people who seem to defy their age, right?
Yeah.
They're 60 but seem 40.
Yeah. And this concept gives us the science to understand why that might be happening internally. It's not just luck.
And there's solid data backing this up.
Oh, yes. Lots of research. For example, studies from the National Institute on Aging consistently point this way. And there was a really striking study in Nature Aging back in 2023. It found that people whose biological age was 5 years younger than their calendar age, they had a 20% lower risk of dying over the next 10 years. 20%. That's substantial.
Wow. That really drives the point home. It's not a small effect.
Not at all. It underscores that biological aging isn't this inevitable fixed decline that just happens alongside your birthday. It's a process. And like many biological processes, you can intervene. You can slow it down.
And maybe even reverse some aspects.
The science is increasingly suggesting that, yes, through specific, targeted strategies, it's not sci-fi anymore.
Which is exactly where we need to go next. Let's talk about those strategies. What can people actually do?
Right, the practical stuff. And the good news is a lot of this is grounded in things we already know are good for health, but now we see why on a deeper cellular level.
Okay, where do we start? Diet seems like a big one.
Huge. You know the saying, food is medicine? It really applies here.
Mm.
But let's get specific. We're talking a diet packed with whole foods. Lots of colorful vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, those healthy fats like olive oil, whole grains.
The kind of stuff we hear about often, like the Mediterranean diet.
Exactly like the Mediterranean diet. Studies, like one in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2021, showed it can reduce inflammatory markers and actually slow down epigenetic aging, that DNA clock we talked about.
So it's about reducing inflammation, partly.
Yes, and combating oxidative stress. That's why focusing on foods high in antioxidants is key. Think berries, dark, leafy greens. They help neutralize those damaging free radicals that age our cells.
Okay, antioxidants. Got it. What about newer dietary approaches, like fasting?
Yeah, that's generating a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
Intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating. And there was a 2024 study, I think, in Cell Metabolism that was really interesting. It found that fasting for 16 hours a day, so eating within an 8-hour window, it improves cellular repair processes, specifically something called autophagy, which is like the cell's cleanup crew.
And the effect on biological age.
The study suggested it reduced biological age markers by up to 2 years in just 3 months.
2 years and 3 months.
Aye.
That's incredible.
It's a significant finding, showing how powerful these dietary shifts can be relatively quickly.
Okay, so diet is foundational. What about moving our bodies? Exercise.
Equally critical. And it's not just about doing any exercise. It's about the right mix. You really want a combination of aerobic exercise, running, cycling, swimming, anything that gets your heart rate up, and strength training, lifting weights, body weight exercises.
More like combination.
They seem to have complementary benefits for aging. Aerobic helps cardiovascular health, metabolic function. Strength training builds muscle, boosts metabolism, improves bone density. And get this, a 2022 study in Aging Cell found that regular exercise, especially high-intensity interval training, HIIT,
Yeah, I've heard of HIIT.
might actually help lengthen telomeres, those protective DNA caps. The opposite of what usually happens with age.
So exercise could potentially reverse a key aging marker.
That's what some research suggests. It also boosts mitochondrial function, the energy factories in your cells, and helps clear out those zombie senescent cells we'll talk about later.
Okay, so practically speaking, what's the recommendation? How much exercise?
The general guidelines are still a good starting point. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity per week, or 75 minutes of vigorous activity. Plus, crucially, add in strength training sessions 2 or 3 times a week.
And any bonus tips?
Yeah, things like yoga or stretching are great too. They help with mobility, balance, and importantly, stress reduction, which we'll get to. It all feeds into the bigger picture.
Okay, diet, exercise. What about the time we spend not doing anything? Sleep.
Yes, sleep. It's not passive downtime, it's essential repair time, massively important for biological age. When you sleep poorly or not enough, it ramps up inflammation system-wide and seriously hinders your body's ability to repair DNA damage that accumulates during the day.
So skimping on sleep literally accelerates aging.
Undeniably. The evidence is very strong. That 2023 study in the journal Sleep was eye-opening. It found people who consistently got 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep had a biological age up to 4 years younger than people who were chronically sleep-deprived.
4 years? Just from sleeping well.
Right. It highlights how fundamental it is.
So what can people do to improve sleep? Beyond just trying to be in bed longer.
Consistency is king. Try to stick to a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends. That helps regulate your body's natural clock, your circadian rhythm. Also manage your light exposure. Less blue light from screens before bed. Make your bedroom really dark, cool, and quiet. Create a wind-down routine.
Any aids that might help?
Simple things can make a difference. Maybe a warm bath, reading a physical book. Some people find magnesium supplements helpful for relaxation, but check with your doctor first, of course.
Good advice. Okay, that naturally leads us to another big one. Stress.
Oh, absolutely. Chronic stress. It's like throwing fuel on the aging fire. It's really kryptonite for your cells
Kryptonite, how so?
because chronic stress keeps your cortisol levels elevated. Cortisol is the main stress hormone. And persistently high levels damage tissues. They actually shorten telomeres faster, and they promote inflammation. All big drivers of biological aging.
So managing stress isn't just about feeling better mentally, it's about physically protecting your cells.
Exactly. It's a biological necessity for slowing aging.
What works? What are effective ways to manage it?
Things like mindfulness and meditation are incredibly powerful tools. They've been shown scientifically to lower stress hormones and reduce inflammation. Deep breathing exercises, spending time in nature.
Yeah.
These aren't just nice-to-haves. They have measurable physiological benefits.
Is there data on meditation and biological age specifically?
Yes, quite compelling data. A 2024 meta-analysis, I believe in Nature Reviews Psychology, looked at multiple studies. It found that just 10 minutes of daily meditation could reduce biological age markers by an average of 1.5 years over a 6-month period.
10 minutes a day for that kind of impact. That's remarkable.
It really is. It shows these practices have profound effects. But the key is finding what works for you.
Right, it has to be sustainable.
Totally. Maybe it's journaling. Maybe it's talking to a therapist. Maybe it's regular exercise, which is also a great stress reliever. Even just making time for laughter and social connection helps buffer stress and reduce inflammation.
Okay, so we've covered the big lifestyle pillars: diet, exercise, sleep, stress. What about the more cutting-edge stuff? Supplements, therapies.
Right. This is where you get into the emerging science, the things that are still being actively researched but show a lot of promise.
Like what's on the horizon?
One area getting a lot of attention is NAD+ boosters. NAD+ is a vital molecule involved in energy production and DNA repair in our cells, and levels naturally decline with age. So supplements like NMN or resveratrol aim to boost those NAD+ levels back up.
And MMN, I've heard of that one. Does it work?
Animal studies have been very promising. Human trials are ongoing and showing some positive signs. For instance, that 2024 study in Nature Communications we mentioned earlier. It showed NMN supplementation improved insulin sensitivity, a key marker of metabolic health, and reduced biological age by about a year in middle-aged adults.
Interesting. Still early days for widespread use, though.
Relatively, yes.
Yeah.
More research is needed to fully understand long-term effects and optimal dosing in humans.
Okay, what else is out there? I think you mentioned zombie cells earlier.
Ah, yes, senescent cells. The zombie nickname is quite apt. These are cells that basically stop dividing but refuse to die. They hang around and secrete inflammatory substances that damage nearby healthy cells and contribute significantly to aging and age-related diseases.
So you want to get rid of them?
Exactly. And that's where senolytics come in. These are drugs or compounds designed specifically to target and eliminate these senescent cells.
Wow, like a cellular cleanup crew you can take as a pill.
That's the concept. Early clinical trials are showing some really exciting potential for improving various aspects of health span and aging.
But are they available now?
Not yet for general use. They're still mostly in clinical trials. It's a very active area of research, though. Definitely one to watch.
Okay, so NAD plus boosters, senolytics. Sounds promising, but also maybe a bit complex for the average person right now.
It is cutting-edge stuff. And that brings us to a really crucial point of caution.
Which is?
Always talk to your doctor or a qualified healthcare professional before trying any new supplements or therapies, especially these emerging ones. They might interact with existing conditions or medications. Safety has to be the absolute priority. Don't just jump on the latest trend without medical guidance.
Excellent point. Okay, so people might be feeling inspired now, hearing all this. Where should they start? What are the practical first steps?
Good question. I think a great first step, if you're really interested, is to get a baseline measurement of your biological age. There are companies now, like Elysium or Inside Tracker are examples, that offer tests using blood or saliva samples.
And what does that give you?
It gives you a snapshot of where you are right now, your starting point. And it allows you to track your progress if you start making changes. Seeing that number improve can be really motivating.
Okay, get a baseline. Then what? Implement everything we talked about all at once.
Probably not. That would be overwhelming for most people. The key is to start small and build sustainable habits. Pick just 1 or 2 things that feel manageable for you right now. Maybe it's adding more vegetables to your dinner each night. Maybe it's committing to a consistent bedtime.
So small steps.
Yes. Small, consistent changes really do add up over time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Aim for progress, not perfection.
And then keep track.
Definitely. Maybe use a simple journal or an app to note what you're doing and how you feel. And then consider retesting your biological age maybe every 6 months or a year. Seeing the needle move can provide powerful positive reinforcement.
That makes sense. Track it like any other health metric.
Exactly. And the most remarkable thing, the truly empowering message here, is just how much of this is within your control. Your biological age isn't just something that happens to you. Science is giving us the tools and the knowledge to actively shape it.
So the final word seems to be, don't feel defined solely by the number of candles on your cake.
Not at all.
Start small with these strategies, stay consistent, and you really can expect to see positive changes, feeling younger and healthier from the inside out.
Absolutely.
And thinking about all this, the ability to genuinely influence our biological age, maybe even extend our healthy lifespan significantly, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, what does the future look like where maybe our health, our biological vitality, consistently outpaces our chronological years? How might that change?
Well, everything. How we think about work, retirement, maybe even family and care across generations.
That's a fascinating thought to leave people with. It definitely opens up some big questions about society and the future of aging.